They experience loss and some challenges in finding adventure.
So 2 and
To ensure
5
a
and
safe and pleasant trip, you should be in good health and free from high blood pressure.
let's see, I guess I knew you were
and
here.
heart problems.
They said 2 and 5, 4 and 6. Bro.
Aggravated by this adventure.
Sorry, I was
Manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del vehículo. Ingredients and menus. Gracias. Ciao everyone, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safari. Before you begin your trip, you should know that the unpaved roads of the
So what was you trying to tell me?
Jumbo, everyone, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safaris. In order to keep your wait time to a minimum, we ask that you please keep your group together, keep up with the party in front of you, and fill in all the available space. It is not necessary to form a single file line. If you are traveling with a stroller, please have children and valuables unloaded before you reach our stroller parking area. If you are traveling with someone in a scooter or wheelchair, please have this person lead your party through the line. This will help keep your wait time to a minimum. Once again, please keep your group together, keep up with the party in front of you, and fill in all the available.
Jumbo everyone, my name's Tanya. I'm your safari driver here in the Harambe Wildlife Reserve today. For everyone's safety, we're going to stay fully seated with hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck at all times. That does go for any little ones sitting on laps as well. They need to stay fully seated on the same lap the whole time. This is a real truck. I am really driving. The road is bumpy and we may have to stop suddenly, so it's just safer for everyone. If you look above your head, you'll see an animal spotting guide. You may not see all those animals out here today, but we do typically have some pretty good luck. First leg of our journey, going to be through the little Aturi forest. Since it's a forest, it's pretty dense. A lot of the animals can be pretty good at blending in or hiding. So we may have to keep an eye out for some of them. Over to our right as we make this turn. The little one over there is going to be a yellow-backed diker. The diker is going to translate to diver in Afrikaans. That is because that animal's main defense mechanism when it gets startled or threatened is going to be to scream, run, and dive into a bush.
What's that?
And that copy over there is going to be the only known relative of the giraffe. They were originally thought to be related to zebras because of the stripes, but they have the same skull shape as giraffes. They're going to have those same prehensile tongues as well as they used to grab onto leaves and branches. And the males are going to have ossicones on their heads just like giraffes do. The okapi went undiscovered by the Western world until 1901 is when that animal was first described to Western researchers. They thought it was a mythical creature. They have the head of a giraffe with the legs of a zebra. It sounds pretty made up to me. They're also just pretty reclusive animals in general. For the first few months of a baby okapi's life, they're going to spend a good amount of time just hidden away in the bush. That way mom can go out and forage for food without worrying about the safety of her little one. Over here to our left, resting up against those logs poking out of the water, blending pretty well. Black rhinos weigh in around 3,000 pounds, which is actually pretty small as far as African rhinos go. I thought it was going to be much, much larger. And just a couple of years ago, there were only about 5,000 of them left in the world, but thanks to conservation efforts, those numbers have doubled.
And they're moving good.
Still a lot more work to be done though, because rhinos don't actually have any natural predators. Their biggest threat's going to be humans. They're often poached for their horns because they're believed to have medicinal qualities, but they're actually made of the same material as our fingernails. Those horns are just made of keratin. Now we got two different types of antelope over here to our right. The dark orange ones are bongos, the light brown ones are kudu. These bongos are known as the ghost of the forest because they're so rarely seen. They're pretty reclusive, mostly only active on the dawn. Mainly female bongos are going to have twisted horns. They're going to use those to pull up bushes and brush from the grass to help themselves clear paths. But all the kudu out here are females. Males are going to have horns that can be up to 6 feet long. Over to our left, let's do black and white birds or sash white birds up ahead here. These are pink-backed pelicans. See on their backs a beautiful pink color that becomes more vibrant during their mating season, which is how they get their name. They're pretty large. They're going to have up to a 9-foot wingspan. Over on our left, you're going to look up Nile hippos. Hippos are going to spend the majority of their day submerged, keep themselves from overheating, really only coming out of the water at night or when it's a little bit cooler out, they graze on land. And once they go underwater, they tend to be there for quite a while. They can hold hold their breath for up to 8 minutes. And that's prefer to travel by just sinking down to the bottom of the water and walking along the floor. They can move pretty fast that way, about 5 miles per hour, but on land, hippos can run at speeds up to 35 miles per hour. They can even sleep underwater if they want to. They can close their nostrils and their ears, and they have a natural reflex that's going to bring them to the surface for air and sink them right back down without even having to. Headed out onto the savannah, big wide open space. Unlike the forest, there's not a lot of running spots out here, so a lot of the animals do have to be pretty fast. They have to start walking or be standing within the first hour of their life. Our wildebeest, they're going to migrate in groups into the millions across Africa every single year, making them the second most densely populated mammal group, just behind humans. All the trees out here are roughly trimmed to the same height. That is going to be giraffe height. The Tower of Maasai giraffes are called a reserve home. They're going to stand between 16 and 20 feet tall, with their necks alone being about 6 feet long. But they have the same 7 vertebrae that we have in our necks. They're just much, much larger. A little hard to make out from back here, but resting up in that cave to our left is a pack of African painted dogs. Each dog's going to have a completely unique coat pattern. It's going to help them to recognize each other even from a distance. That probably speeds up their morning routine quite a bit because they're not going to start their day till they've greeted a very group-oriented animal. They're constantly working together and communicating, and because of that, they're some of the most successful hunters out here. They have around an 80% success rate. Lions only have around a 20%. Dark brown animals with the skinny horns to our left are sable antelope. They're the emblem for the Harambe Wildlife Reserve because when they get threatened, they're going to stand their ground and protect their herd just like we protect these animals out here. They have those horns that point backwards to protect them from predators attacking from behind. If the whole herd is threatened, they're going to form a circle, all facing outwards with their noses pointed down toward the ground so those horns are up and out. That's going to protect that herd from all angles. There's a little brown and white antelope down here to the right. That's a springbok. And the rest of them aren't too far away. They're one of my favorite animals out here on the reserve because they're just so small but so mighty. They're only going to stand around 3 feet tall, but they do this thing called pronking, which is where they jump up off the ground with all 4 feet. They can jump 6 feet up and over 10 feet forward. If you look at the spine guide above your head, you can find a reticulated giraffe up there. Mine's a little bit more neat. Giraffes spend around 18 hours of the day eating. When you do that, it doesn't leave a whole lot of time for sleeping, so they're only going to sleep for about 30 to 90 minutes each day. And you won't even do all that at the same time either. They're just going to take a couple little power naps to make that up. And 20 feet down is a pretty long way to go. It's going to put them in a really vulnerable position. They tend to avoid it for as long as they can, which is why unless a giraffe is super comfortable in their environment, they're typically just going to stay standing even if they're asleep. tallest land mammal giraffes are never really short. They're going to be born standing around 6 feet tall, the same height as your armrest right now, and those adult giraffe legs. And they're going to grow about a foot per month after they're born. Over here on our left, these white crown antelopes. And they like to take their long, twisted horns to the ground in bushes, pull out whatever they can, and make it into a flower crown so they can appear more attractive to potential mates.
Braylon. Hey.
Now it looks like we're headed into elephant territory. We'll act like bulldozers and knock trees over and out of the way to get to those leaves on top. And it looks like quite a bit of that has happened here. But I also see a mandrill up here on our left. He's going to be sitting on one of these rocks by the palm trees. Mandrills are the largest African monkeys. Males like that one are going up to about 100 pounds. Females max out around the 30-pound mark, though. And the Arabian monkeys known for the bright red and blue colors on their faces. We're going to have those big ears shaped like the continent. Those ears are going to act like their own air conditioning system. They're filled with blood vessels. When they flap them, it's going to promote circulation and cool their entire body down about 10 to 15 degrees.
How many pictures of the elephants do you have? Yes.
Over here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wondering if we could find a couple or a little further down the road here. They are pretty social animals.
Very nice.
There's the flamboyance of greater flamingo. They're called greater flamingo because they're the largest type. They're also going to be a lighter shade of pink. They get their coloration from the food that they eat, which is brine, shrimp, and krill. Flamingos hatch. They're just little gray fluff balls, and as they get older, they're going to lose those gray feathers, gain some white ones, and slowly turn to that gorgeous shade of pink.
Yeah, I know.
Cheetahs are the fastest land mammal, reaching speeds up to 70 miles per hour, only about 3 strides. They can't keep it up forever though, only run the length of 2 football fields. At that point, they tend to overheat and they have to rest for a while in order to cool down. So you want to control your body when you're running that fast, but there's a couple tools to help with that. They have these long tails that they use like a rudder on a boat to change directions. They also have non-retractable claws. Their claws are going to stay out 100% of the time. That's going to help them gain traction while they're running. That way they're not slipping and sliding all over the place.
See that? See that? Daddy, come see that?
Earlier, the black rhino, I mentioned that 3,000 pounds is pretty small. Those white rhinos are going upwards of 5,000, making them the 3rd largest land mammal just behind African and Asian elephants.
I guess they don't have the light.
No lion.
Over to our left, there's some warthogs resting kind of on the side of this hill. So
Oh, yeah.
There's a dark, flat, triangular rock in the back there. Just to the right of those, there's 3 warthogs resting there. They kind of just look like hairy rocks when they're laying still. Put them in danger during that time. They'll easily just switch to nights. The burrows are going to help to protect them, especially from those extreme African temperatures. It's not going to be as hot down there during the day. It's not going to be as cold down there at night. They like to back into their burrows. That way, if anyone dares to peek their head in there, they're going to see those tusks and instantly get spooked. There we go. See those warthogs again? One of them sitting up in the middle.